it's Rebecca at Design and Adorn. It's Tuesday. It is 5 o'clock, so we're gonna have a Facebook Live party. Woohoo! We're not selling anything tonight. Tonight we want to talk about braiding and what to do when your braid goes a little bit astray and how to get back on track. So, as always, I need just a couple moments to hit all the buttons and make sure that we're actually live. Make sure I can see the comments here. When you get in, give me a shout out. Let me know where you're watching from so I can see that my comments are working. Let me try to pull it up on my phone. Just got a new phone yesterday. And let's see. I tried to turn the volume down before I hit this button, but I think that I'm going to have to turn it down again. It is 5 o'clock, so we're going to have hey, phone, be quiet. Why do- so we're going to have a Facebook meeting and what to do when you're braiding. Sorry. All right, hold on. How do I make my phone be quiet? All right. I hate getting a new phone. I do. I'm not good at this. Hey, Sally! All right. Settings. Sounds. Okay, now can I turn my volume down? Okay, that's lame. Apparently, if you can turn your ringer volume down with the button, it doesn't also turn down my, media volume? I don't know. Let's see. Let's try it again. All right, Design and Adorn is now live. And my phone's now quiet. Woohoo! Yes. Okay, great. Now we don't have a weird feedback loop. Awesome. What did I just see? Who has no pants? Oh, Simona has no pants. I have pants on today. Yeah, how about that? All right, cool. Debbie from a block away. Annalisa, Simona, Cecilia, Barbara, Sue. Hi, everybody. Ooh, says Tucson broke another record for the heat. I hadn't heard that yet. I suspected it. It's pretty hot outside. It was super hot when I got in. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Wait. Not hold on you, hold on world. Hold on world. Alex has something amazing. Okay, hold on. All right. Get ready. Alex has something just absolutely amazing to show you. Ready, steady, go. I love it. It's so cute. What type of dog is that? It's dog. It's a dog. It's so cute. Hey, Lynn. Hi, Allison. Hi, B. Hi, Meryl. Awesome. Oh, hey, beautiful day in New York City. Nice. Sizzling hot in Tucson. Yeah, does anyone know how hot it is outside? Like 1,000 degrees-ish? Something like that.
I'm panting.
Yeah.
It's so hot, I'm panting. I love this mask.
Nice. All right, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what we're doing today is we're going to talk about unbraiding and fixing boo-boos in braids. So I know you guys can't raise your hand, but give me a shout out. Let me know if you have ever made an oopsie in your braid and then were you able to fix it, or was it a deal breaker? Did you have to start the project over? Because what I want to do is I want to show you guys the basics of unbraiding. It's actually pretty simple, so that if you discover a mistake in your braid, you're able to just walk it back, find where you went wrong, fix it, and then just move on with your life. That's the goal. 106 degrees in the foothills. That's hot. That's so hot. Yeah, we've been just blasting the AC at all times here, and we got the fans on. All right, so Lisa's able to fix most. Excellent. Allison has had some deal breaker oopsies in the braid. B's had both. Yeah, so it's always worth reviewing. So let's take a look at this. So I'm gonna start. Let's do this. I have one set up with Rattail first. I'm going to show you this in Rattail and in beads. It's easier to see with Rattail, so that's why we're going to show that first. Ooh, Barbara says 108. Wow. All right. Oh, and Sally has her sister fixing some of her braids. Bonus. Very handy. All right, so let's take a look at this braid here. So this is our standard Congo Gumi here. And while I was setting up, I put some boo-boos into this braid. So I'm going to flip this over and try to zoom in so you can see. Aha. Right, so do you see there's like this weird lumpity, bumpity. Oh, there you go. Now you can see. Like, aha, what happened there? What happened with that? So this is clearly an oopsie, and we have to go back and fix it. So the number one thing I want you to know about oopsies in your braid is that you need to just leave everything on the disc. Do not start like pulling these out and taking things off the disc and moving them around every which way, because no good will come of that. That's only going to make it worse. Generally speaking, you are very close to correct. You're like this close from the right thing. And if you just start moving them around randomly, you just make a huge mess. If we just like go back slowly and systematically, we'll be able to find the mistake and correct it. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. When we're unbraiding, you just start by taking a deep breath, and you're gonna know that there are no Kumihimo emergencies, right? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. There are no catastrophic outcomes possible. Everything will be okay. So we're gonna look at our point of braiding. That's here. This is where all the cords come together. And we're gonna look and see which cords are on top. I mean, which cords are physically on top of the pile. That's this pink one here and this one over here. And see how they're partners, right? They're catty-corner from each other. They're on top because they last moved. So that's where we're gonna start when we back this up. So if you are taking notes, what I want you to write down is unbraiding is uncovering. Hey, Sherry from Canada. Nice, yes, international audience tonight, woohoo. Unbraiding is uncovering. So when you're going to pick one of these cords to move backwards, it shouldn't cover anything else as it goes back. So I'm just gonna take this straight back the way it came from. So we're just gonna lift it out of its slot, bring it straight down across the disc, and lock it in. All right, so we're just gonna braid backwards. We're just gonna do the opposite of our forward move. So this one's on top. We're gonna take it back right where it came from. Now I'm going to rotate, and of course it doesn't matter which way I rotate. It doesn't matter which way I was rotating before, just turn it. So now our other pair of cords are on top. Again, I can see that this one and this one, these and my yellows are on top. These are on top. These others, they're not. They're coming from underneath. So I'm not gonna do anything with them, but these that are on top of the pile, they're gonna go back, just straight back. And so long as everything is going back okay, you're just gonna keep doing it. So oftentimes when there's a mistake, like here, we've got our mistake back here, we didn't notice right away, right? So we just like kept on braiding past it. So sometimes you have to just like unbraid for a little bit to get back to the oopsie. So I just keep looking what's on top. I'm gonna take it back. And I'm just keeping an eye on the point of braiding to make sure that everything's looking good. And it is, so far so good. But eventually, we're gonna find our mistake. I don't know exactly where it is. It's been a couple hours since I set this up, but we'll know it when we see it. So again, I'm just looking to see what's on top, and they go straight back the way they came. Now, where sometimes people get in trouble when they're unbraiding is either they're getting too creative, or they let their mind wander and they do a move that's not part of the braid. So remember that in Congo Gumi, our moves are top right down, bottom left up. So every time, top right down, bottom left up, turn the disc. That means that when you're on braiding, your moves should also be up and down movements. Nothing should be swinging around side to side or going, you know, around the outside of the disc, because that's not what happens in the braid. When we're unbraiding, it should just be the straight opposite. So this one right here is just going to go straight up where it came from. All right, we're just going to keep on going around. We're uncovering. Right, so for example, like when I bring this straight here, it doesn't cover anything else. But if I were to put it over here, see how it's crossing over those? You know that that's not the correct move. So we're just going to keep uncovering as we go back. There we go. Just keep uncovering. All right, I can tell looking at my braid below that I'm getting a little bit closer to that oopsie spot, but I'm still not there yet because when I unbraid, everything is hunky-dory. Nothing weird is happening on top. And this is really normal. People often make a mistake and then just keep on going and everything's fine. So you do have to unbraid a little bit. Okay, now it's starting to look kind of funky. My point of braiding looks funky, all right? It was fine before, and now it looks weird. Let's zoom in. Do you see that? Do you see how there's this funky, like, split there where these are kind of parallel to each other on a diagonal? That's not what we usually see. Whoa, super close up. All right, do you see how that's different? You don't have to, at this point, whoops, sorry. When it's so zoomed in, it's hard to stay in frame. Okay, stay right there. At this point, you don't have to know why it's different or what about it's different, but if you can just in your mind recognize that, oh, this doesn't look like the way it normally does, that's your first clue that, okay, we're approaching the point where we're going to have to make our fix. So again, I'm going to turn it, and I'm looking to see what's on top. These yellow ones are on top. So I'm going to take this one back the way it came from, this other one here, take it back the way it came from. All right, again, that's not looking the way it normally does on top. Yeah, you guys see that? It's not the way we expect it to look. That's not our usual point of braiding. So we're going to turn it again. We're going to see what's on top. Now, we are now at an oopsie. You can tell looking at this, this is not right. And when I go to take stuff back, look how weird this is. So I got my pink ones are on top, and if you can't tell which of these are on top of the pile, you can like really get in there. There you go. Look at it super close, and you can see this one is on top, and this one is on top. So that's what we're going to do our move. We're just going to go straight back again. So this one's on top, and I'm going to bring it straight across. This other one's on top. I'm going to take it straight across. Now, whoa, what's happening here? I have pink ones on top again, but I shouldn't, right? Because we should be alternating, right, between the yellow and the pink. So what happened here? That means that the pink warps, this axis was moved twice in a row without rotating, right? Because remember, our moves are top, right, down, bottom, left, up, turn the disc. What happened here was we went top, right, down, bottom, left, up, top, right, down, bottom, left, up, without turning the disc in between. So to go back some more, again, we're just looking at what's on top. We're going to take that back where it came from. Okay. We still aren't back to our mega boo-boo though. There's still kind of like a funky spot in here. Yes, guys see it? We're getting closer. But there's just still like funky indent there. So we have to unbraid more to fix it. That's another thing to keep in mind while you're unbraiding is sometimes there's more than one mistake in the braid. That's actually pretty common that you'll have two boo-boos. So go back a little bit more and, look underneath, make sure that it looks good again before you're like, okay, we're fine, because we haven't fixed everything. We just fixed one little thing. So we're going to turn it. And again, we're just taking the one on top, bringing it straight back. This one's on top. We're going to bring it straight across there. Turn the disc. Okay, now again, we have something where this doesn't look quite right. Our point of braiding isn't correct. And yeah, we can see that there's something crossed happening here. So we have two warps that are on top. This one's on top, and this one is on top. Which one do we move first? Well, if we take this one and we go up here, well, the spot's kind of occupied. This is over here, and I can't go over there, obviously. So I would say let's do this one first, right? And if you came across it, this direction would be the same thing. So we're just going to take this one here, and we're going to move it here. So that was one that crossed into the wrong spot, right? It should have been here, but while braiding it accidentally got placed here. So it's going to go there. This one's on top. We're going to bring it straight back. So, is that it? Did we fix our boo-boo? Well, no, there's still kind of like a funky spot underneath. So let's go back a little bit more. We're going to rotate. The yellow ones are on top now. So we just bring those across. Go back. So really we're just, going nice and slow, taking our time. Okay, here's another funky spot. See that? So, this one's on top and this one's on top, but they're straight across from each other, right? That shouldn't be the case. They should be catty corner. So let's take this straight back here. This one, we're gonna bring it straight across. Look at this little gap here. So we can just close that up. This is looking better. Let's go back, another one. And we're gonna take a peek underneath. See, did we get everything? Yeah, this is looking good. All right, we've got our nice spiral here, the way we expect, no weird spots. Generally, I always go back one more beyond where I think it's good, just to make sure I didn't miss any last thing. And then one other thing I like to do once I've fixed it is to go ahead and reset the spacing. Because sometimes the spacing gets off while we're going back and fixing these boo-boos because of, the cords were crossed and different mistakes. So I can just shift everybody around back to the dots so that I know that everything is evenly spaced and ready to go moving forward. The yellow's just moved, so when it's time to braid forward again, I'm going to turn, top right down. So there's our stopping point, and we can set that aside. Okay, so that was our first round of boo-boo fixing. Wanted to do it with some Rattail cord because it's bigger and easier to see. But of course, most of your braids are probably done with beads. So how do we fix this when our boo-boo is beaded? It's the same thing. we're going to have, you know, some sort of oopsie in our braid that we'll need to go back and fix. So let's take a look at this guy here. So I'm gonna zoom in on this. I set this one up with some weird things so that you guys could see some boo-boos. I'm gonna put this on a stand so that it focuses better. All right, do you guys see this flat bead that's sticking up in the center? You guys see that? So we have a bead, there we go. It's a pip. There's a pip bead just standing up in the center of our braid. How did it get there? Why is it there? It doesn't belong there. We have to fix that. So what we do when we're gonna fix our beaded braid, this is gonna be the same thing as when we're doing just a rat tail braid, and that's we're gonna unbraid. So we're gonna start by looking at our point of braiding. So where all of our cords come together, that's the point of braiding, and we're looking to see who's on top. So this one is on top, and this one is on top. We're gonna take them back where they came from, but we also need to take this bead out. So I'm just gonna fish it with my finger and pull it back before bringing it down. See if I can zoom in a little bit more. So here's my cord that's on top, and this is the bead that I'm gonna fish out. So I lift this up, pull the bead out, and then turn. So again, so I'm just taking the cords back where they came from, getting the bead out of there. There we go, grab that bead. Now, when I've shown people how to do this in class, I've had some people ask, hey, could I just leave the beads congregating in the center while I'm working? Would that be faster? And I'll just take them all out at the end? Yeah, you could, but until you're really good at unbraiding, I recommend that you not. I recommend that every time you do a move backwards, you go ahead and fetch that bead out of there so that you don't end up with beads crowding this area and obstructing your view, because that's going to make it harder for you to tell when you're at the point when it's possible to fix your braid. So go ahead and take the beads out every time we're doing a move. Oh, here we are. We're at the fix it point for this pip bead. So let's take a look at this. So you can see, I'll turn it this way. There we go. Here's my pip bead. It's in the center. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lift this up and I'm gonna take the bead out. And the problem with our bead was that it just was facing the wrong way. So we do a lot of work with these fun different shapes of beads, and when you have a drop bead like this, it's important that when you lock it, that the main part of the bead is facing away from the point of braiding. So what happened was it got trapped this way with the drop in the center, and then I acted like I didn't see it and I just kept braiding around it. That's how it got trapped there. So we can just correct it. And if that were the only mistake in our braid, we could just keep on going. But I set up another really funky boo-boo in here. Do you guys see this? My braid's kind of deformed, this bead sticking out to the side. There's kind of a empty looking spot here. So there's another boo-boo down in here, and we have to go back and fix that. So again, just like we did when we were braiding with Rattail, we just keep looking at the cords that are on top and we pull them back, but this time we scoop the bead out as well. Now, I'm right-handed and I keep doing my unbraid move with my right hand here. Well, actually, I guess I'm doing it with both sides. But going one direction, it's easier for me if I kind of like rotate the disc around as I do it. So I do. So feel free to, you know, hold the disc in whatever way makes it comfortable for you to pull the beads out. And sorry, I'll try to hold this better in frame. There we go. So as I do my unbraiding, I keep looking at the point of braiding and I'm waiting for it to look unusual, for it to be off. Right now, even though there's like a boo-boo below it, everything that's happening on top is fine. All right, so my top cords are catty corner to each other. When I'm looking at the beads, the holes of the beads are facing up. They're arranged in a circle. There's a little hole in the middle. Everything here is correct. But I can see below, there's this little funky bead that's sticking out funny. So I know that down below there's an error, but up here on top, everything's fine. So all I'm gonna do is just keep unbraiding normally. So just the reverse of the correct moves until I get down to the oopsie. Oh, I think we're getting close to it. Oh, yeah. Here, look at this. There is a bead. There are two things happening here. One, do you see that red bead where you can see the side of the bead rather than the whole of it? So that's one problem. And then number two, do you see that neon green spot in the center? That's another bead that's trapped in there. I set up this demo with a funky green bead so that it would stand out, and you can see there's a bead that's trapped at the very center of this braid. So let's go back and rescue that bead. What you need to know about bead rescue is there is nothing you can do to save that bead until you get all the way down to the layer where the mistake happened. You have to be patient. You can't rush it. Like here, there's this red bead that's trapped on its side. See this here? You can't try to like pick that thing out. You're just gonna mess up what's on top, right? These guys are still here. You gotta just keep unbraiding, uncovering until you get down there, and then we can free that red bead on its side, and then we can fix that green bead that's stuck in the middle. Just gotta take your time with it and uncover each layer of this braid. So I'm continuing to just unbraid normally. I'm fishing the beads out, and we're getting closer and closer to our mistake. Look, we can see, here's that bead that's sitting on its side where the hole isn't up. We can just see the side of it there. You can see that it's stuck on one of the diagonals at the point of braiding. So this one has a bead stuck on it. This one here, that's normal. That's what it should look like. So we're gonna keep on going. We're not there yet. Sometimes the hardest part of unbraiding is just having the patience to do it. Right? Because if you get too frustrated taking your time, that's when you start just like yanking the cords off and moving them all around. So, almost there. Okay. Got this one. Oops, and look at that. When I moved this cord out, this red one just, boo! It just like shot out of the point of braiding. I'm just gonna let it sit there a second. It's not its turn. We're gonna do this side. Okay. Now, this little escapee bead, it wasn't quite locked correctly. And I'll tell you why. It's because of this green bead here. This green bead wasn't in its place, therefore there wasn't room for the next bead, which is how sometimes problems can cascade when you're doing beaded kumihimo. One mistake with placing a bead can mean that there's not room for the next bead to get seated correctly. And maybe it will sit there initially, but then by the time you've done a move or two past it, the tension from pulling on the strings can just like pop it right out of place. And then you have a series of boo-boos stemming from one original boo-boo. So it's also really important to check your work while you braid, and just, you know, every now and again, just take a peek underneath, admire it, make sure that everything is as it should be. Because if you catch things right away, it's a lot easier to fix. You don't have so much work to undo. So we're almost ready to fix that green bead, but first we have to get down to its layer. So this one's on top and its bead popped out, so it'll be really easy to take back. So just move that cord, pull that bead out. Great. We're going to do the other side. This one's on top. Pull the bead out, turn it, and there's our little tricky green bead. Do you see what happened? Do you know what's wrong? This cord got crossed. So it came from here. So it's bottom left. It should have gone straight up to here, but instead it crossed over. And that crossover meant that this bead wasn't going to sit right. And then the next bead wouldn't sit right either. So let's fix it. So this one's on top. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it back over here where it belongs. And then that's its neighbor. I don't have to pull it back. We can check underneath and we can see, look, the rest of our beads, they're just fine. See, it's okay. So now that we have saved our green bead, we can just pop it right back in where it belongs. And that's how it should be sitting in the braid. All right, so that's how you go back and fix a bead that's out of place if you have seed beads. Now, I do have one more quick example for you. I have one set up that has different shapes of beads. It's the same thing, just different shapes of beads. But if you look really closely, you can see there's a seed bead trapped in the middle. So this is going to be the same thing we've done before. It's just now that we have different sizes of beads in here, it just gets a little bit trickier. I gotta switch the camera, sorry. It's trickier to see. So here's our black bead down in there. So we have a combination of bead sizes and shapes. The unbraiding process is going to be exactly the same. We got to try to get this black seed bead out of the center. So again, to know where to start, let me zoom out. We're looking at which cords are on top. So that's these guys here, the teal ones. And we're just going to pull our cords back, fish the bead out, do the same thing on the other side. And again, let me show you that bead we're trying to rescue. It's this guy right here. It's sitting on a diagonal cord. So again, you have to wait until you're at the level where your bead is. Sorry, super zooms, big movements. So here's my black bead, and I can see that it's stuck on one of my diagonals at the point of braiding. And I'm so close to it, but I can't free it yet because I still have to move this cord and the partner over there. So let me just pull those back. Pull that back. All right, now we can see, here's our bead, and it didn't quite get locked underneath this cross warp. So we can just go back, catch it, and there it goes. We are good to go. All right, so I hope that that was helpful for you guys on how to unbraid. The main takeaways for unbraiding: take your time, be really deliberate about it. You don't just move things around without thinking. We're mostly just going backwards, straight the way we came. And number one, most importantly, don't take it off the disc. It's really difficult to sort things out. Once you've taken it off the disc, things just start like swinging around and tangling, and especially with the weights on there. If you remove it from the disc, the project is often not recoverable, other than taking it all the way back to the beginning. But if you just take your time, unbraid slowly, you can find the spots where things are a little bit out of place, where either there was a crossover or a bead didn't get locked correctly, or if you have like a drop bead or a shaped bead where part of the bead got, you know, caught in the center of the braid, you can fix it at that point. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll be back to our regular programming on Friday night with some Kumihimo Kits for Sale, our Friday night shopping party. We'll see you then. Happy braiding. Bye.